Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Musings number... Which one, Greg?
Number 9.
Nine.
Number 9. Musings from Japan, number 9.
Hey, I'm Mark Marin. Watashi Mark Marin desu.
I'm Greg Taylor. Watashi wa Greg Taylor desu.
Minasan konnichiwa.
Konnichiwa.
Good afternoon, or good morning, or good evening, or good day, depending on what time.
Ohayo gozaimasu.
Good morning, yes. Okay. How you doing, Greg?
I'm great. How are you, Mark?
Okay.
How's life treating you right now?
Well, survived the flooding here in good old Shibata. Yeah. How about you?
Yeah. Well, it looks like rainy season's just about over. Now it's just terribly.
No, yours is declared over.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, then it is over for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Well,
that's what they do in Japan. They declare it over.
They say, yeah, you're done. Finished. That's it.
Well, for sure it's done, and you can tell it. It's almost like it turns off. The rain is like a faucet, and it turns off like a light switch.
Yeah.
Or like a faucet.
But you know what that means then for you?
Yes.
It's
terribly hot and
then
and muggy and
hot, muggy, and it's typhoon season.
That's right. And I looked on the Japan Meteorological Agency website to see if there's any potential problems out there in the Pacific Ocean or the oceans of Asia. And there's a couple of disturbances or a couple of storms around China.
Well, there's one already hitting the Okinawa, the South Islands of Okinawa into Taiwan. And that will come.
There again, it's very fast. A couple years ago in July, we had you can have typhoons as early as June, I think, here in Japan.
Yeah.
But we had a typhoon in July that came from almost due east. Mm-hmm. And it was fascinating because it came east of Tokyo, and it came up.
It came actually south of Hawaii. It was that far developed, that far away from us.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, and then it hit directly towards you, right?
And so what was amazing is it was very, very close to my area, and within a few miles, really, and just very close. And then the storm it had hit, the peak of the storm hit in the middle of the night, the mm-hmm. typhoon, and it was the strangest feeling I'd gone to bed, and I remember it had been windy and rainy earlier, and then the rain stopped, and then this tremendous sound in the atmosphere, mm-hmm. this straight, I've never heard it in my life. And we've both been through a number of typhoons, a lot of typhoons actually here in Japan, but this wind was different. It was just it was actually a frightening sound because the atmosphere was making the noise with this sustained wind.
Yeah,
at such a high velocity.
For those of our friends who are on the East Coast of America or in the South, it's a hurricane basically, but a typhoon is a little more. It has a little more. It's actually bigger than a hurricane, so the air pressure is not so condensed, but it still has that core. That. You get that rush of sound. So I've only experienced that kind of typhoon twice in Japan, because on living on this side of Japan, on the Niigata side, the Japan seaside, typhoons come to us is usually just heavy rain.
That's right. And as about 4 or 5 years ago, there was a typhoon. It was a super typhoon, a massive typhoon. I think the biggest category, and it was on the west side of Japan. And when it was going around Kyushu, to go north side of Japan in the Sea of Japan, it was a massive typhoon, and by the time it got to Niigata area, your area, mm-hmm. It had basically dissipated.
Well, that typhoon that hit you last year in June weakened and got stronger again as it passed Tokyo, and it dumped a lot of rain.
Oh, yes.
In highlands in Fukushima and Miyagi above you. So actually it did more damage after it left you. So
yes, that's right. We had that typhoon that was here, and that it caused tremendous flooding in the Kanto region.
Yeah, it was nuts.
Yeah, it was crazy. So
anyway, so that's what we're looking forward to now, ladies and gentlemen. So
yep, it's midsummer here in Japan, and
yep. And that means that means right now it's time for many different kinds of events. But first, I want to make sure that we finish up some business from last week. Uh, Today, we're recording this on Sunday. This will be Sunday, August 2nd. So that means today is the last day of the Sumo Basho, the Sumo tournament. Okay, calm down, everyone out there. I know that you're so excited.
No, it's great.
But it's kind of a just to recap a little bit. We're not going to go too much into sumo because actually sumo takes a lot of time to teach and a lot of little details that you have to pick up, and unless you're really into it, it can be really monotonous. But let's put it this way: this tournament is a little bit unusual because there are a couple stories that have come out of it. Number one, there was a new ozeki. Ozeki is the second highest rank of wrestler in the sumo banzuke. If you remember last week, that's the whole list of all the participants. The second highest rank is called ozeki, and there was a new ozeki. His name was Asanoyama, and he's actually doing very well, and he was actually very close to the lead of the whole tournament. But the last couple of days, he's had a couple of losses, which have been really bad. And yesterday's loss was really, actually, I want to share this. This is yesterday's loss here. Let me pull this up. I'm trying to do everything here. So I don't know if you can see I'm going to pull up this share screen here. So I don't know if you all can see this here. Can you see this, Greg? You're okay?
Yes, I can see it very well.
Okay, so I hope we're still recording. But on the right side is Asanoyama, and you can see his rank in Japanese. It says Ozeki in yellow.
Ozeki.
Ozeki, and from the place that he's from, which is Toyama Prefecture. And then his stable, his
he's
group,
not from too far away from you.
and not too far away from you, just across the mountains from you, and
That's right.
just down the sea from me. He's about by car 2.5 hours from me. So
yeah, same
now,
here.
in his record, Asanoyama, in big white letters going from top down, Asanoyama, you could see that's his name. And then, I don't know, you can't read it. I'm just telling you. And then you see how many wins. It has a plus and a
He's
dash.
11 wins.
That means 11 wins, and then two lines,
two
losses.
Two losses.
Make, ni make, juichi kachi ni make. The other guy on the other side, his name is Terutsuyoshi, and now he's a Maegashira in yellow. Maegashira, and the third yellow character is 7, nana. That means the top ranks are Yokozuna, Ozeki, Sekiwake. I'm not going to use the American American Sekiwake.
Pronunciation, yeah.
And Komosubi. Those are called the Sanyaku. Those are the highest ranks. And then right below Komosubi, there are 17 other ranks of wrestlers, and those 17 are called Maegashira. So he is Maegashira number 7. So out of the 17, he's number 7. And it says he's from Hyogo-ken, which is down in the Kansai. Now, they had a battle yesterday. Now, what I want to do is I'm going to show you this battle, and I'm going to kind of describe the scenes around this, and for you and for Greg and everything, just kind of like a little play-by-play. Now, you will see how the winner wins and or the loser loses. The techniques that they use are called kimarite, and there's lots of tsuyoshi. There's ceremonial techniques that they do in a lot of different steps. So I just want to show you from yesterday. So now we're playing here. You can see these guys walking around. These guys with carrying these banners around the ring here are called yobidashi. These are kind of like the ring caretakers. They're holding banners, which are promotions. All of those banners are sponsors, and they pay money, kind of like not betting, but kind of like money to inspire the wrestlers to do well. So each one of these banners can be between, what's the average? I would say probably $700 to $1,000 each.
U.S. money
U.S. dollar. Yeah, you're
equivalent.
not Canadian or Aussie, but American dollars. So right now, probably there's been about 16 different banners. So right now, there could be anywhere from $10,000 to $16,000 there. Now, the money, I see there's more banners coming up. You can see them coming up. The money goes to the winner. Whoever wins this match gets this big stack of envelopes, and each one has cash in it. Now,
Wow, that's
it doesn't go
great.
to the person. It goes to him as the winner, but he takes it back to his stable. So, like
Yeah.
and then it's divided among all of the members. And a stable will have 40 or 50 wrestlers in it, plus we call the trainers, the oyakata, as well as gyoji or referees, which are associated. So one stable could have probably 70 to 100 people who are active. So if you get $10,000, that's going to be divided among everybody. That helps pay for food, for transportations, medical care. It's kind of a tip. Okay, now up here you see the names: Teru Tsuyoshi on the left and Asanoyama on the right.
Oh, what's great here is they have the ruby, or the furigana,
Right,
where it's easy to read the kanji characters.
right. Now,
Oh, that's great.
also you have the character in a white block. One says Nishi, the other one says Higashi. That means that there's the east and the west side. So they always represent from now. Now the bottom, right down at the bottom, it says Ichiban Awase. Ichiban Awase. This is the first time meeting between these two wrestlers. These two guys have never met at this level in sumo. Now they might have met at the very, very low levels before they got up to the championship levels, but this is the first time. So right now, this match is really important. He is Asanoyama, and he's like one of the leaders of this tournament. The other guy on the left, Teru Tsuyoshi, is what we call he is fighting for his kachikoshi. He needs to win. If he doesn't win, he'll guarantee a losing record and he'll be demoted. So this match is important to him. Asanoyama match is important for him because it keeps him tied for the lead of the tournament. So this was yesterday. So now what they're doing, they're throwing salt into the ring because the ring is kind of a holy place. This is a Shinto shrine, not a rink, but a ring. Right, Greg?
From last time, sure.
From last time. And now they're gonna set up and the gyoji, the referee, will turn his gumbai, his paddle. The gumbai will be face forward. When it's face forward, he says, "Okay, now it's time to wrestle." So now they get down at the position, and you check the gumbai if the NHK camera would back up here. Right now, it's not backing up, so we can't. They're just focusing on Asanoyama. The gumbai, the paddle's forward. Boom, they go. Oh, and he's down. That's it. Boom. Teru Tsuyoshi won. Now, this technique that he won by, can you guess what this is, Greg?
No, I can't.
They're going to show you in the slow motion.
Okay, let's try it again. When they show it in slow motion, I'll see if I can figure it out.
Now, Asanoyama lost. Teru Tsuyoshi guaranteed. He got his 8th win. He did. That means he's guaranteed to be promoted up. So he's number 7 now. See that stack of that big stack that.
They give it right away.
Yes, the gyoji, the referee puts it on his gumbai, and then he's giving this little chopping motion. It's like, arigato, thank you very much, give me the money, bring me the cash. Each one of those is, I'm talking $1,000 in each one of those little envelopes, and he's going to grab it, and he takes it back with him, and he gives it to his oyaka. Look at it. Oof.
That's actually pretty thick.
It is thick. This was an important bout. Now, the technique that he lost, this is Asanoyama, he lost. Now, you can see on the bottom, there's a green and purple. Now he has 3 losses. Sanmake, Asanoyama, and Shodai is the other guy. And then there's another guy who's got 2 losses. So, okay, here we go. This is this white circle, that is Teru Tsuyoshi. He shows 8 and 6. In Maegashira 7. That means now he's got his 8th win. He's guaranteed to be promoted up. Guaranteed. Asanoyama has black. He gets 11 wins with 3 losses as Ozeki. Right now, that means he's 1 loss below the leader of this tournament. Now, right at the top in this blue, this, I don't know if you see my mouse, sir. Can you read that?
You know, there's something I can't read the character, but
Okay, first
the one on
one.
the left looks like walking or like feet.
Very good, very good. It's called ashi.
Ashi. So
Ashi is its feet or walking, and this is ashi tori.
ashitori. Doyuimi. What does it mean?
Tori means push down, to push something down. There's a lot of yori techniques in sumo, which are pushing techniques. So what he did, this means he lifted his foot and pushed him down. That's what this
So
means.
that was a technique.
That was the technique that he used to win. It's called ashitori. And then they're going to show you. Now they're showing the leaders. And okay, let me move forward. Yeah, just to show you, here's the slow motion. So now what he does is he goes below the charge, and then he picks up his foot here, picks up the foot, picks up and pushes him down like that. See, by release, if he would have held his leg and pushed him down, it would have been another technique. But because he picked it up and pushed him and let go, that means he pushed him down by his foot. And it's called ashitori. Now, to be honest, this is a very unusual technique. This is rarely used. What you've seen right now is very rarely used, ladies and gentlemen. Actually, I have only seen this technique maybe 3 times in the last 30 years. This is a very rare technique.
Interesting.
So anyway, so that is ashitori. So now Asanoyama now has 3 losses. He's one loss behind, and Terutsuyoshi is kachikoshi, and he'll be promoted the next one. I'm going to stop share now. So ladies and gentlemen, just to update the sumo, we don't know. I was hoping that there would be a winner today. The guy who's actually in the lead now is very unusual. He was an ozeki 3 years ago. He got injured, and what happened was he kept losing, and he went down from ozeki back to sekiwake, back to komusubi, back to Maegashira, all the way down the Maegashira from 1 to 17. Then he got demoted again to Juryo, and then all the way down to what's called Jonidan. Jonidan is like the second lowest level of sumo, and there's like 8 levels. He went from the top all the way down to the second lowest level in 3 years. And then he was going to retire. Usually somebody who's that high will retire. They don't want to go through the shame of trying, say, I was an ozeki, but now I'm Jonidan. Because only the Maegashira and Juryo get money. Once he went below the Juryo level, he stopped getting paid. He became a servant. That's the system. He became a slave within this system. But his trainer, his leader, what we call oyakata, told him, you can't retire. You're not going to retire. You're not going to give up. You need to get back to Sanyaku. Then you can retire. And he said, okay. So it's taken him 3.5 years and a pandemic to work his way back up to Maegashira. He is Maegashira. What I just told, he's at he's number 17. He's the lowest level of Maegashira. He's just made it this tournament. All he has to do is get 8 wins, like you saw the guy, and then he could just slowly move back up. But right now, today, if he wins, and in about 4 hours from now, if he wins today, he'll win the tournament. He'll win the Yusho, and he'll jump from there all the way back up to Sanyaku. And he will get stacks of envelopes of money that you just saw, plus sake and fish and food, a parade, except it's all pandemic controlled. Who knows how much party he's going to, but this is, if he can do this, this would be the greatest comeback in the history of sumo. And like we said last week, sumo was over 1,000 years old. No one has ever done this before in the history of the sport, and it could happen today. So today, maybe I'll be able to see history. So, and Greg, you should watch it today too if you have a chance.
Ah,
About
it's
four
gonna be on.
o'clock, and it no
Um,
NHK General. You have it. It's not
so
on. It's not on the
what
satellite.
channel is that? Which
NHK.
three?
These are the
Three?
one or three.
One or three? Yeah.
Yeah. So the
Yeah. We
so
don't have satellite, so or we don't use satellite. We're not hooked up to satellite.
but it's on the it's not on the satellite. It's on the regular
That's
broadcast.
great.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll be able to watch it then.
So
That'd be great.
so for sumo, ladies and gentlemen, I'll give you an update. I'll let you know who won, or you could check it out online. There are different sites that have sumo and the recaps in English if you want to watch it.
Well, what was fascinating is you showed the YouTube thing, and it was just what I like about Japan and a lot of things. Well, it's the same way with America or anywhere else, really. A lot of agencies or um, sports or whatever post things up on YouTube, and you
Mm,
can easily access them. And for instance, you showed us that clip of
right.
it was yesterday, right?
That was yesterday's clip. Yeah.
Yeah,
Today's
yeah.
tournament started 2 hours ago with the lowest level. And
Where's the tournament today being played?
the tournament, this whole tournament has the last 2 weeks has been held in Tokyo. And
In
today
Tokyo.
is
That's
the
right.
final day, the 15th
Yeah.
day. So,
What are
um,
some of the other cities that they have it in Japan?
well, can you guess them? So
I know I live in one or
so
near one,
the
Nagoya.
there are 6 tournaments in a year. 3 are held in Tokyo. The other 3 cities are, Greg says,
Nagoya.
which is a Greg city. Usually this tournament is in Nagoya, but because of the pandemic, it's being held in Tokyo.
I'm gonna guess
Okay, guess the other ones.
Nagoya,
Yes.
Osaka,
Osaka, yes.
and Fukuoka.
And Fukuoka. Very good, Greg. Oh, Greg
Hey.
Taylor nailed it. All right, good job. Yeah. And usually the spring is the March tournament is in Osaka, the summer is in Nagoya, and the winter is in Fukuoka. And the other tournaments in between those 3 are Tokyo, Tokyo, Tokyo. So,
Interesting.
It's kind of a
Yeah,
nice.
you've always been ever since I've been here in Japan. I know that you've been a great fan of sumo wrestling. Yeah.
Yeah, and actually I've done it. I've sumo wrestled. I've dressed in the mawashi, or the diaper, is if you want to call it. So I have no pictures. Maybe someday one of my Japanese friends will come up with a picture of me doing that, and then I will kill them. Anyway, sorry.
Well, so what about the music that you played last week?
Oh yeah. I'm sorry. Yeah, some people asked me, since it was a sports edition, what I had done is I had selected music that reflected the sport that we're talking about. So like the whole theme of the thing was supposed to be sports. So I chose the BBC theme on the sports. Now, if you look at the end of the Musings number 8, I put the credits at the end. Not everyone gets to the end. They fall asleep, or they turn it off, or they're bored from us, right, Greg?
No, I watched it to the end.
Oh, thank you, Greg. So, me too. Anyway. So that was the BBC sports theme. So for those in America, so that's what the BBC would sometimes play. we remember we used to watch ABC Wild World of Sports, and they'd always, the thrill of victory and the agony of defeating
and Jim McKay.
Jim McKay, that kind of stuff. So it's along the same level. It's a very popular, except ABC used the Olympic. That was, I think, the Munich Olympics theme, originally fanfare.
I believe brass fanfare that.
But the BBC has an original theme they use. And then for the baseball, I used the high school baseball theme song for the high school baseball tournament. And this theme song is very important because when the students start the tournament, they have to march into the stadium, and they all line up, and they're all introduced, all 64 teams, and they march into that song. So, so I played, and it is a march, and it has vocals. It's kind of nice because my son, actually, his high school baseball team qualified for the national tournament twice, and I actually went to Koshien to watch his high school baseball team play in that national tournament. And I didn't go to the opening ceremonies, but I just remember that everywhere you hear the music, you hear dun, 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 dun. Anyway, the other theme, the sumo theme, was actually like kind of a pop song that was sumo wrestlers sing it, and it's kind of a funny song. And the version I could only download only comes from a YouTube version, which I just copied and I put up there. The original, you have to buy it, but I can't buy just the song. I'd have to buy the whole album. So I didn't want to buy a whole album, a bunch of sumo wrestlers singing. So I just kind of downloaded that cute little song. And then what was the other thing? Oh, one person asked me what was the theme song that we play, that I play every Musings, that the jazz song.
Oh, yeah.
And
yeah.
And actually, I asked some people, who do you think is playing this song? And people go, oh, some Woody Herman, or they think, Duke Ellington, or some big band like that. And I'm going, no, that's the Benny Goodman Big Band. And I'm going, Benny Goodman? But yeah, Dreezag, or something like that. I don't even know how to pronounce it.
Drazak.
But it's Drazak or whatever, but it's a Benny song, and I remember reading someplace where Benny Goodman after World War II tried to catch on with the new wave of music that musicians were playing, which was bebop, and even Dizzy Gillespie had a big band that featured that style, and so Benny tried it, and if you listen to it, man, it's tight. It's good lines, good arrangements, good swing. The band really kicks. But the problem is that Benny Goodman couldn't sell that. He couldn't sell that because he was stereotyped, as kind of the king of swing. And so he had to play this old style dance music, when he was trying to make money and still stay viable. His audience wouldn't let him. So, but that's just an example of one of the many bop songs that he tried to do, but he didn't catch on. So actually, I believe after he did a couple of albums, he disbanded the big band and only went with small groups from that point. Anyway, so I like it, and I like the song, so I throw it in there.
Yeah, I like it too. It's interesting though, if you think about Benny Goodman, if you know Benny Goodman's music,
mm-hmm.
And the stereotype you just discussed, it's not stereotypical Benny Goodman.
It's not Benny Goodman, but it's him, and he's playing in there. He's playing with the saxes on those cool lines. So anyway, but thank you for those who are interested in music and stuff. Oops, I dropped my pen. Thank you, and the sumo and stuff. But I think we're going to end this Musings, but I want Greg to talk, because I seem to talk too much. But there's a holiday that kind of comes every summer in Japan, and that holiday is called
Obon.
And Obon is a time where people go back to their homes, or families get together to honor their ancestors or their relatives who have passed away. So, Greg, you have a unique opportunity this Obon, because you have
well, we have in my family, we have 2 family birthdays during Obon week.
Right. Yeah.
Obon is like Mark said, it's a time where Japan, hardworking Japan, basically shuts down so that family members can go back home and be with their families at this time. It's a mid-August break, so to speak.
Yeah.
And so everything closes down.
Most companies stop work, or they give their employees off, and
so it's a very important time. And so, for example, I get a week off, which can be nice. And so in my family, my late father-in-law, who passed away last year, we're going to honor him. There's also another family birthday. And so what we did, my wife and I did, was yesterday we went to a very famous local paste. Actually, it's I'd say it's but mostly a cake shop.
Yeah. Okay.
In Japan, like a popular cake shop is called Cozy Corner, and they have 400 shops throughout Japan. And you can go to my local Piago supermarket, and you can find a Cozy Corner.
I go to Cozy Corner. Eon here and get Cozy Corner, yeah.
Yeah, so Cozy Corner because there's 400 shops, and they're from Ginza, and it's a very popular cake shop.
Cozy Corner cream puffs.
Delicious, aren't they? Yeah, we've had those.
Yeah.
We've had those. And anyway, so we went to a local Okazaki cake shop called Country Christmas.
Yeah.
And it's just like it sounds. Country Christmas is interesting because I'm going to show you some pictures here. And Country Christmas, the first picture you're going to see is inside the shop, where you walk in the door and there's a large Christmas tree that's decorated. I think it's made out of wood.
Christmas in
And
summer.
it's Christmas. Was in this shop. It's Christmas year round,
Mm.
and not this time, but the other times we've been there to eat some cake. They're playing on the restaurant sound system. They're playing American country western music. So
Christmas
it's,
music or just
yeah,
country music?
country western. But yesterday they're just playing basically classical themed music. And it's interesting. It's an eclectic kind of cake shop, and it's called Country Christmas. So it's country western music, and it's Christmas themed all year round.
So you ordered a cake then from them?
Yeah, you have to go if you want a specific type of cake. You got to go in, or you can. I think you can call, but probably you have to go in and pay for it, like we did.
Mm-hmm.
And you go and order the cake at least 2 weeks in advance. So Obone is about 2 weeks from now.
You have a picture of that cake that you ordered?
No, I don't. But maybe in a future Musings from Japan, I can show it to you.
Follow up.
What we ordered was a white chiffon cake.
Mm.
So it's delicious, and it comes with a chocolate sign that they put on it, and it says "Happy Birthday, whoever." So it's absolutely delicious.
But you ordered one cake or two cakes?
One cake.
One cake.
Yeah, but my wife and I, when we went to order the cake yesterday, we decided that we're going to go down there and relax and have some cake and coffee and relaxing time.
So you went to the cake shop to order cake and eat cake too.
That's right.
So you can have your cake and eat it too.
You can have your cake and eat it too.
Sorry.
That's exactly what we did. So the first picture that we're going to show here, that you're going to see in this video, Musings from Japan #9, is of a Christmas tree that's in the display area of the restaurant and of the cake shop. And then you're going to see an example of, I think, of a cake that I ate, and a couple other pictures. I sent along a couple other pictures. So
yeah, I'll display them like I did last time for those of you who looked at. They'll be in between us, so I'll look down here. Ooh, cake. Okay.
There you go.
There it is.
So yeah, it was great. So it was a nice summer thing to do.
So what? So in this pandemic, then, because Obon, a lot of people like to travel. I think last year, didn't you travel to Thailand around this time?
Actually, this year's 2020.
That's right.
So for the previous 3 summers, my family has been in Thailand.
Right.
We would go to Thailand every summer. So 2017 was the first time. And then we went again in 2018 and 2019.
Yeah.
Yeah, 2017 we went a little bit later. We did go during Obon, but we came back after Obon had ended, I believe. I think I can't quite remember, but I do remember that we didn't leave at the exact time it started. Obon, or the Festival of the Dead, started, because if you leave, that's one of the heaviest traveled times in Japan.
Right.
So it's very difficult to get travel arrangements if you leave at the start or the finish of a national holiday, such as Golden Week or New Year's or Obon. Those are the 3 biggest travel times of the year in Japan.
Yeah.
Of course, until I moved to Japan, I under your tutelage and guidance, I didn't know these things and know how travel was affected by those things.
But now and it's good. I mean, but this year with the pandemic, though, it's right now, ladies and gentlemen, Japan is having kind of an increase, marked increase in the reporting of cases of the coronavirus, especially in your area, Greg. Your areas, even my area, there's actually, we have, well, the number is very small, but we have tripled our cases. We're up to almost 20
Well,
now.
what's interesting is in March we closed down the school system here in Japan, and then they did it again in April, and it's even higher. The rates of uh, cases of coronavirus are even
Cases, yeah,
higher.
but
Um,
this
and
but
and and this
the number of deaths is lower though.
yeah.
And
So it's
that's the only how do you say silver lining, I guess, in this is that
in the whole story. Yeah.
yeah the I would say the what was the thing they saw on the news, the rates of deaths and the severity of the virus among those who have contact is far less than it was in March and April. March and April we had lots of people in hospital, lots of people on
I
respirators, but right now we don't.
I also noticed in a news article, I think it was in the Japan Times, the leading English newspaper in Japan. Uh, they said that the usage of the railroad by people is still dramatically lower than
Yes,
what it was
yeah.
pre-pandemic times, and it's
Yeah.
like it went down during March and April. It was just tremendously low
Well, it
usage.
was in
It was
our
closed
area.
down.
In our area, well, it wasn't closed. They just nobody took it. I mean, it was down to 90% empty.
Yeah.
You know,
So
so right.
now it's back up to like 50 or 70%
Yeah,
of.
it's barely 70%. I think I saw 68 was the number in our area. I'm not sure about your area, but I'm not talking about Tokyo. I'm just talking about on the Japan Sea where I'm at. We're at about 68%. So that's
Still.
still. I mean, and this at this time of the year in Obon, the trains in Japan would, without a pandemic, would be running over capacity. They would overbook trains. Actually,
You have to stand in the aisles.
yeah,
If you wanted to ride the train, you would have to
right.
stand during the duration of the journey.
And I remember going places during Obon and having to stand on a train just in Niigata Prefecture from Murakami to
Yeah.
Niigata. You know,
And I
have
can remember many times riding the train during that time period, during August, for example,
yeah,
having to stand on the train between Niigata and where you live in Shibata,
yeah.
which is pretty amazing. But even now, with Obon happening, they're canceling the festivals. I think this weekend would normally be the Nagaoka fireworks show,
Well, yeah. I mean,
which is
that's they canceled
nationally
that.
famous.
They canceled that in May. They said they
Yeah.
have it. Yeah, August 1st and 2nd is the Nagaoka Fireworks Festival, which is one of the
Yes. Would
top
have been this
five in
weekend.
Japan.
It would have been
Yeah,
tonight
today would
and
have been the second night.
second night.
The reason why it's commemorated, and those who are in Hawaii would know, because Honolulu is the sister city of Nagaoka. Nagaoka was firebombed by the U.S. Army on August 1st. Killed a couple thousand people in Nagaoka City, and did massive destruction to Niigata area. The U.S.
During
Army
World War II.
during World War II, and
Yeah.
the um, the people in Nagaoka uh, always remember that, and they created this festival to remember how not to, how they want to have peace, and war is bad, but also to remember those who died at that time. And is it so? Uh, this year would have been was they were having a they were supposed to have a very special fireworks, because this is the 75th anniversary of that bombing.
Yeah.
So, and it's like, so there's a lot of specials on TV, and actually tonight on television at I believe at 6 something tonight here, not, I mean, not in Greg's area, but in our area, you can get on NHK and watch a high definition 5K broadcast of last year's fireworks.
Oh, that's great.
So
I remember one time I'd gone to Tokyo during this time period, during Obon. No, sorry, during this time period that they had the Nagaoka fireworks, and in Tokyo Station, everybody got on my car, And then when we got all the way near to the end of the line in Nagaoka, everyone got
Like
off.
they dump off, right?
And so it was almost empty going to Niigata, another 20-minute further north.
Mm.
But everybody on the Shinkansen was going to the Nagaoka fireworks.
That's a good point. In and I guess everyone has a different experience when it comes to fireworks. But when I was a kid, I remember in San Bernardino, uh, my family, we would go to the Orange Show Stadium and watch the fireworks at Fourth of July, and we'd go and buy tickets in the stadium and sit up there and watch the big fireworks. And it's like you spend an hour there. Takes us. I lived in nearby, so it wasn't that difficult to get there. You get there and you walk around and get in the stadium, and get your popcorn or whatever, watch some fireworks, and you leave. It's a couple hours. But the Nagaoka fireworks, just from where I'm at, if I'm in Niigata City, Nagaoka is only 2 train stops away, the Shinkansen. But in order to get there by the 7:15 start time, you'd probably have to leave around noon.
Wow.
And you have to get there because they control all the seating, because they don't want you. If you want to sit in the free area, you have to go in the morning and then camp out and catch a place. There is paid seating areas, but you still have to leave around 3 o'clock to get. If you're driving there, you have to leave around noon because the parking is so far away, and then you have to walk to the place, and then you can sit down and get a seat. And we're not talking, there are some benches and chairs, but we're talking. When I talk about sitting down, the last time I went, I'm sitting on the ground, and I'm paid money to sit on the ground in this particular area, and it was clear so I could see everything. If you went to the free area, there might be some trees in the way or whatever. It's like, it's nuts. And we're talking 15 to 20,000 people from around Japan will come to see it. And it's not a 1-day fireworks display, it's a 2-day. So you get 15 to 20,000 people each day coming in by train or by car or bus. There are tour buses that you can take from your area, Greg. You could, on a good time, you can go down to your local tourist travel agent and say, I'd like to go to the Nagaoka fireworks. And this, we have this tour and this tour. And they'll have a whole tour package. You'll take the bus, get a little bento, maybe they give you a little cushion to sit on the ground.
Bento's a box lunch.
Yeah. So, I mean, fireworks here in Japan are really big deal.
They're spectacular too.
And it's, yeah, I remember those. I'm sorry. One time I took my students from Japan. We went to their sister city, which was in Southern Illinois, Carbondale, Southern Illinois. And it happened to be the 4th of July. And I told them, yeah, we're going to be in America on the 4th of July. We're going to get to see big fireworks. And Carbondale, they said, yeah, we have this big fireworks display. So, you can come on down. And so I took the students, we put them on the bus, we drove down, the bus had to park over here, so we had to walk, and we went to this park area that there was so many people sitting there, so we had some people were sitting on the grass, some people were standing because there wasn't much space, and then they had the fireworks, 15 minutes of fireworks, and it was done. That was it. When
That's
you
terrible.
come and my students were, because they're used to the Nagaoka fireworks, when you come and you see, we're talking a 2.5-hour show of fireworks, with music and with narration, 2.5 hours. But we were in America on the 4th of July, and we worked hard to get to this park to watch 15 minutes of fireworks. And the fireworks were not very spectacular. And the students went, is that it? Sorry, I didn't know. I'm not from Carbondale either, so I didn't even know. And I was like, is that it? So I had to take everyone out to Dairy Queen. We all had, ice cream, and they were happy. So it's okay. But
That's good.
Thank God for Dairy Queen. But yeah. So Well, anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I think we're going to end Musings number 9 right here
Yes.
on soft cream, ice cream. So
On
I
Dairy
hope
Queen. Oh,
Dairy Queen. Oh man, I think that was the last time I had a Dairy Queen too.
it's been a long time since I've had Dairy Queen or Foster's Freeze
Monster Freeze.
or Thrifties.
How about A&W?
A&W root beer floats. Oh my gosh.
Ah,
Yeah.
and
Someone
all
said,
these
I
things.
think I heard somewhere
Hmm.
that there was an A&W here in Japan at some time.
No, well, really?
Yeah. I think in Osaka or somewhere, I think there was an A&W.
If there
I don't
was,
know
it
about
would.
now,
No.
but could you imagine that going to A&W here in Japan and getting a root beer float?
They do sell it in the can. Because you can buy it at Jupiter or Yamaya. These are shops here in Japan that
Oh, you know
sell
what?
foreign
Maybe
foods.
that's what it was.
Oh,
Yeah, maybe it was that you're able to
because
buy
to go
A&W
to
root
an
beer.
A&W in Japan would be kind of funky. Anyway, I want to wish everyone a happy summer, and you guys stay cool. It's hot here, and be safe with this coronavirus. For me, I still got my mask. I haven't used the government mask yet, but I've got some good masks now, so I don't need to use that. I have some good
My
masks.
government masks are about, say, 50 centimeters behind me.
Yeah, on that house behind you.
Yeah. Right over there.
Right over there in the garden. Anyway, so I hope everyone has a very good summer. Next week, Greg's going to be busy with his family business, and I'll be busy as well. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to take a week off, and we'll come back to you at the end of August, and we'll report on about our summer, how it went.
Lots of August things happening.
Yeah, lots of things, and maybe report on schools and what's happening. And I know Greg is gonna has some school adventures coming up, and we'll talk about after this musing. We'll talk a little business, but I hope all of you have a great summer and enjoy everything, and try to be safe and healthy, and don't be smart out there. We want everyone to keep watching us and tell friends to watch us. Please, ladies and gentlemen, more comments, more everything, more looks, more likes. Tell your friends. All right. All right, Greggy, anything you got to say?
No, thanks for joining us for Musings number 9. Musings from Japan number 9, everyone.
Number 9, yes. Okay, we'll see you guys. Thank you. Take care. Bye-bye.
See you.
See you.